Hello. Today I'm going to do a Q&A video. I have not done one of these for a number of years, and I was just reminiscing the other day going, oh, I haven't done one of these. So I reached out to some of my audience through the Instagram social media platform, and I got a few questions. I thought I would share them with you. And yeah, it's interesting sort of questions. And so yeah, I've picked a few which, I think I guess reasonably important, things you might want to know, maybe things that going to help you with where you're going or what you're doing at the moment. So anyway, let's get started. So the first question I got was actually a two-part question, but I'm going to split it off into the two separate parts. And one of them is, what am I doing now? And lots of things. Yeah, so obviously recently I've established my Oneness Being platform. You can obviously check out that website down below. I'm still, I'm still doing a lot of like event management and volunteering as well for various music and lifestyle festivals here in Queensland and in Australia, Umuru. And yeah, I mean, what else? Always doing lots of things. Yeah, I volunteer for a free environmental legal centre, which is, that's been really nice. Been doing that for a couple of years. That's been really awesome. And yeah, I'm still, I guess, doing my office job as such, but I'm also moving out of that potentially sometime soon, looking at starting my own business, doing a very similar thing, which is a very scary and big step, and also involves a lot of trust that I will just be supported in that move. And I would say that sums up a lot of the external things that I guess that I'm doing. Internally, I've been feeling a lot of different emotions, but we kind of always are. So that's always good. And yeah, I guess that sums up what have I been doing. Now, the second question is actually asking whether I'm still working in the office role that I have been doing. I'm not going to name what that is because I don't feel it's very important, and I also don't want particular judgment around that. And then it also opens up a can of beans of all sorts of things that I don't really know if it's something that's necessary for me to do so. So yes, I am still doing that office thing, and yeah, like I said, I'm positioning myself to potentially move into my own business with that. It evolves a lot. There's a lot of things around getting particular certifications. There's a lot of insurance requirements. There's a lot of like subscription fees. There's a lot of sort of like software and things that I am required to make sure that is very secure in what I'm doing, because information security is very, very important. But I'm also grateful in the fact that I've got a space at the moment where I could work from home doing that. And I work from home a lot of the time with my Oneness Being, sort of donation-based work that I do. But I've also got enough space to, sit there with my laptop and do that kind of office job. So I won't have to pay extra for things like office rental, and which is, always going to save you quite a bit of money. So anyway, next question is, how does one obtain true peace? It's quite a big question. That's really going to depend on your perspectives and life experiences that you've had up to this point. And I guess the thing I would want to remind you is to coming back to yourself, and that can look a vast amount of ways for a vast amount of people. So you're coming back to where you think it is that you are, and that doesn't necessarily mean some kind of geographical location, That's where I think one can obtain true peace. But, I'm not some kind of ascended master or, I don't know, like that could change. Maybe you ask me the question in a month and it'll be completely different. Maybe in 10 years it could be completely different. But at this point in time, my perspective is one finds true peace by coming back to themselves, and that can obviously look vastly different for a lot of people, and that can be done through a vastly different number of ways that can be done. So, next question. What is the greatest quality the human possesses? I guess the first word that comes to mind, obviously these are all like usually shaped by your own like perspectives, and those are usually shaped a lot by your own experiences that you've had. So this can change a lot depending on what schools of thoughts you have, what kind of feelings you have about life. Probably free will, but I don't necessarily mean that. I don't actually necessarily know if that actually is anything different than like whether the tree has much different free will, or the rocks have much different free will, or and I'm not really sure whether humans are the only earthly creature, good to put that in there, that have free will. I guess like they may do, but it's definitely not, well, I should never say definitely, but it doesn't appear to be the same level or layer of free will that the human does. And obviously it's just a terminology, right? Free will is just a terminology. I guess that can be equated to a lot of actions and feelings, and those can be used in lots of different ways. So obviously we have free will to do a lot of different things, and people will argue till the sun sets over and over and over again what those things are that are supposed to be good, and what is those things that are not supposedly good, and all of that. But I don't know if I want to open up that can of beans and go too far into that, because sometimes it's a bit hard to create a container around who's receiving this information. I don't want information to be misinterpreted, and anyway, greatest quality that the human possesses, probably the free will. And then obviously you can get into I don't even know if I should say this, because you can get into other beings that are beyond the earthly realm, but we'll stick to the earthly realm. Let's just stick to that. Okay, what is your secret power is the next question. I don't know, I mean, we all have lots of different powers, and I guess what defines a power can vary a lot for a lot of different people. But a power, I mean, I have found, the last couple of years that I've been excuse me, sorry about that sound, that I have been developing more and more of an ability, obviously with my use of music, but also to start speaking different languages that are not necessarily related to an earthly culture. Not necessarily related to an earth language or languages that are spoken at this point in our existence. And that can also unlock a lot of different things. So it can activate myself, but also others around me. And I guess that has been a bit of a secret of mine. Obviously not a secret so much now if you're watching this right now. And so I'm starting to try, I'm not trying, I just am learning that more and more, and working out how I can use that of some assistance to others, and not feel like I have to keep it as a secret. Yeah, because there's obviously a lot of judgment around that, and I won't go into what that may be. I've got a few mosquitoes. I'm standing in basically what would be a creek if it was raining right now, but it's not. So yeah, a lot of mosquitoes. So yeah, that I guess is my secret power. One of my secret powers that I've been dibble-dabbling with is, yeah, some people would call it light language. Yeah, so it often is languages from beyond the earthly realm, or they could be within the earthly realm but not spoken about anymore, or they're yet to be spoken of. Time is a little bit funny with explaining this. So yeah, that's basically what I call little powers. That's maybe a little bit secret. Yeah. Okay, last question. Have you failed at anything, and what did you learn? Failure, I guess people will try and put at the other end of the polarity success, the potential polarity, should I say. So, and those are very subjective terms, right? Failure, success. I don't really feel like I've ever, like I've done a few, like, you go to school when you do a test and you get a lower grade than what you hoped or what you thought you could, or, yeah, in a sort of left brain logical way of thinking, that could be a failure. But I don't ever really feel like, I guess there's things you do in the moment that you feel like, oh, I could have done that so much better. But for myself, I always find moments proceeding on from that I no longer feel like that, because sometimes it then unlocks or it opens a door to something else, which then becomes, and you don't really know that, you can't really be sure that maybe if you had not gone through that thing where you felt like it was a failure at that moment, whether that would have then unlocked that door, or maybe it might have unlocked the door in a completely different way. I don't know. I might be sidetracking a little bit from the question. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sure there's lots of moments in my life where I felt like, oh, could have done that differently. I mean, I don't really know if that's what one would term as a failure. But there's always just, every single moment you're experiencing is always an opportunity to learn something. That's how, I guess, when I take a moment and I really think and feel into it, that's what's coming out for me. So yeah, it's every moment opportunity to learn something, whether that moment be a success or a failure. Although I do understand and even understand that for some, and even myself in certain points in time, that yeah, those moments of failure can kind of feel like, oh, it needed to happen in order for me to progress, whatever that should be. However, I don't want to get too stuck in that mindset, because that can be limiting in itself as well. Feeling like, oh, I consistently need to, or I occasionally need to, or, this needs to happen every now and then in order for me to go forward. I don't want one to get stuck into like, that's how their life should be. Because you can still learn a lot through successes. And, some people might feel like they've never really had a failure because their whole mindset is that they don't even sit within a failure box. They never see anything. I guess that's kind of like what I was saying. I never really see, this moment looking back, like anything's ever been a failure. But yeah, I'll admit, there's been times obviously where I felt like definitely. And I guess the reason I can't think of a particular moment is either because maybe of my own perspectives and stories around trying not to attach to those things. Yeah, Anyway, I think that's enough questions. I'm glad they weren't questions like, what's your favorite color, and what's your favorite TV show, and like I love great, like yeah, that's cool, but you can only sort of answer so much in those sort of questions. And like something like a TV show, I haven't had a TV for many years, so yeah, it'd just be kind of a redundant question for me. Anyway, I think that's been a pretty good Q&A blog. There's another airplane going overhead, and because it's my cue to leave you for now. If you want to get in contact with me, you're more than welcome to in the comment section down below. You could also find me on various other social media platforms in the description box down below, and I will see you in the next vlog.